Welcome, you have reached Emperiol Sports. Today's video, we'll be talking about the restart of the NBA after the break of the CV-19 pandemic. Let's get into it. So, we're about 10 days into the NBA restart. NBA restarted on July 30th, 2020, and now we're currently at August 9th, 2020. About roughly 10 games in, you have seen the Lakers clinch the number one seed for the West, and you got Clippers still at number two. And the Lakers, as of late, like they're on a 3-game losing streak. So this is not, because you had that long break for 4 months. Was it 4 months? Yeah, about 4.5 months, something like that. You can't afford to not. You need as much playing time as possible, because what's being said is that LeBron and AD don't practice. So you can't afford to not get the games in. Now it's understandable to back to backs, because when you're older players, especially like LeBron, or you got injuries like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, those type players, you need those back to backs can re-aggravate something. So LeBron recently, he set out on a back to back and they lost. He came back on yesterday on August 8th playing against the Pacers, and they lost again with LeBron putting up 31 points. So this is not looking good. It seemed like they, in the beginning of the bubble, they had the best chemistry, but that's not the case right now. So you got Memphis Grizzlies, who's in the 8th seed, and you got Portland, Phoenix, and the Spurs all fighting for that 8th seed to knock the Grizzlies out. Now the Grizzlies is still there, but they lost one of their key players, and so everybody feels as though they're going to slide right out of that 8th spot. You got the East is pretty much set in stone. You have the Magic at the 8th seed, and the only person that could take them out of that spot is the Wizards, and that's not gonna happen. I don't even really know how the Wizards is even why they was invited. The East was pretty locked up. I guess they could have had a chance to get in, but they don't have full strength in the Wizards anyway, so they really just another team that's just out there that's, I guess marketing just the Wizards brand. Hey, we're on TV. But the 8th seed is pretty locked up with the Magic, even though they're losing. They're losing games, but it's pretty much locked up. You got Sixers. They just lost Ben Simmons to surgery, so that's going to hurt them going into the playoffs, because he's a key player for them to defend. Pacers, they're playing well. TJ Warren's on a tear right now, surprisingly, in the bubble. The Heat's playing well. I like Jimmy Butler's leadership and how he got them boys believing. And he's playing hard out there. Don't know much what they're going to do in the playoffs, but if they can upset anybody. But they're playing well. You got those Celtics. It's suspect, man. Always say certain things like it was rumors or words that when they got in the bubble, you had Kimball Walker said, "Oh man, there goes LeBron." Like LeBron is right, actually right here. When I hear stuff like that, it's good to have admiration for another player. But when I hear that, like maybe after the fact, but when it's time for like we going against different players, and I watch Boston plays Lakers and stuff like that, and Kimball doesn't like show up. Like he don't go as hard because you could be all in the person you look up to. So when I see stuff like that, it's kind of like Boston ain't going nowhere. Boston may play hard, but I can see them losing. I can see them getting pit out. You had the Raptors. The Raptors has been playing up and down surprisingly well. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they're gonna play in the playoffs. Then you have the Bucks, and the Bucks kind of like look most solidified to get to the finals. It would have been them and Sixers in my pick, but um, with loose loss of Ben Simmons, I don't know, that may hurt the Sixers. So my pick is gonna be with the Bucks to make it to the finals. I'm going with the Bucks. They just played the Mavs last night, and they just look good out there. I think they got Brook Lopez shooting too many threes as a center. He can make them, but when you living out there shooting threes, you know, and Giannis is just keep getting better. He's a force, 6'11", power forward. He's a force out there. He just got to keep getting better, keep working on his game, and try to become more effective out there. And but I still think they fall short because after Giannis, Lopez is pitting in, you have Middleton, who's supposed to be like the second option guy. He's really like third, sometimes the fourth. He don't get that shot going. He's useless out there, and um, I don't know if that's going to keep Giannis there. Giannis would be perfect for Golden State because he needs to be around people who can shoot. While he do his damage inside, he learns how to pass out of the double team inside or get better in passing, man, he'd be perfect for Golden State. So I know Golden State is going to try everything within their whatever to try to get Giannis, recruit Giannis. And Giannis would be perfect for Golden State. And it'll extend the career of Steph Curry and pick Golden State right back on the map. But it's going to depend on how dedicated Giannis is to the Bucks. But that's my take on that. The Western Conference is going to be interesting. Mavericks is balling. They playing well. But I don't believe they can beat anybody. Like, people are stuck on Luka thinking, Luka is playing. He's young. He's playing. He's balling. He's hitting up great numbers. But I didn't see Luka too many times play in a big game against the big players and come up small. Maybe that could just be with he's young, and in a couple of years from now, he'll have that more dog in him to, okay, I'm getting at these guys and I'm gonna drop them off like Dirk did. So, but that didn't come overnight. So, but Luka is a great talent. He's putting up great numbers, but I don't look at them as no threat. And Porzingis is balling. He's looking aggressive, attacking that rim. I like that. You just gotta watch yourself to stay healthy. But Porzingis been balling, so it makes them more effective. But I still don't see them making no noise in the playoffs. You got the Thunder, who shout out to CP3. Got the Thunder. He's rocking. The Thunder is rocking. They got them young men believing, and they're winning games. But that's all they're doing is just winning games. I don't see them making too much damage in the playoffs, Where you like, oh snap, you look up and the Thunder's in the Western Conference Finals. Like I just don't see it. They doing that much. Their first series might be versus the Rockets. Now that'd be interesting right there. Because although the Rockets at one moment in the bubble, the Rockets looked like most threat. Like Westbrook and Harden was getting down, and Harden's picking up the defense, and it's looking like. And then they just did on like a 2-game skid where they just lost back to back. Like, man, because they're light in the middle. So anybody that got somebody in the middle paint can abuse them down low, especially if their shots are not falling with the 3-pointers and stuff like that. So, but them playing Thunder in the first round, that is not an easy out for the Rockets. So that'll be an interesting first round. The Nuggets, oh my gosh, the Nuggets is at the third slot. They probably play the Jazz. The Nuggets and the Jazz both offset each other. Like, I don't. It's surprising that the Nuggets is at the third spot. Every time I watch the Nuggets, I don't even identify with nobody on their team. They got Jokic and the center, and he's not even that. He got more hype with the name than his game. He don't really just drop people off like that. And then you have the Murray guy just came back, and then you have Paul Millsap. He just been whenever he cashed in. And the Jazz, what's the tall guy? Rudy Gobert. Like, no, no, no. He's not no threat out there. And you have Spider. Can't think of his name right now. Donovan Mitchell. He is okay. He's just not what you think he is. You know what I mean? Like you would think like he's quality. He can keep getting better. He got a reminiscent of Wade's game, but he don't got the killer instinct of Wade. He's a solid player, but just not the killer instinct to just take over games and really be wreak some havoc out there. He don't have that part in him to keep attacking and keep attacking. He don't have that part in his game, and he's just a solid player. He could be a good player, second, third option on a good team, something like that. But Jazz and Nuggets cancel each other out. You have then you have the Clippers, and because of the performance of Kawhi Leonard in the last playoffs, you're looking at Clippers as the most threat because if they can put it all together, they're a deep squad. If they can get the chemistry going within the team, they haven't had a lot of time to play with each other this whole year. So they just kind of just playing out of tune and this guy doing that thing, that guy. They don't have no real chemistry. And you got the bench, you got Reggie Jackson, you have Lou Williams is back now in the bubble. Rest in peace to Harrell's grandma. I doubt if he comes back. He's really taking it hard, as most people would if your grandmom or mom or somebody personally really that meant a lot to you passed away. You don't know how you would grieve or how you're going to react. And he's taking it on the hard side, and they letting him come back whenever. And I don't think he's right now. The bubble playoffs start like I think August 17th. I don't think he's gonna come. He's gonna make it back because that's going from tomorrow. That's like a week away. So I don't think he's gonna make it back. I think they're just gonna tell him take his time, come back fresh whenever the next season starts or whatever. But if they had him, they'd be more of a force. But even if you get him back, you gotta get him in shape. You gotta get him, and he's a weed smoker too, and alleged weed smoker or whatever. But every time I see him, he looks high out there or whatever. And Lou Williams, they got him back. He got to get in the flow of the game. I don't know why he wasn't out there yesterday. Maybe he got injured down the stretch. Maybe he got injured in that game. But he needs as much playing time he can get because he hasn't looked like himself all year to me. Like they say he averaged 19, but the games I watched, it really didn't look like it. Just like the games that was televised, especially when every time they played the Lakers. Look at them games he played the Lakers. He came up small, man. I watched them, I think it was the Christmas game when they played the Lakers, and him and Harrell looked it high from the jump. And not saying that they were high, but they looked it high in my opinion. And he had like the fast break layup, and he didn't. And I think AD came down and swallowed it. I just was like, man, get him out of the game. So Lou Wills, even though he averaged 19 and he's up for a six-man award with Harrell, I think Harrell going to get it. I think that to me he hasn't been in good chemistry this whole year or whatever. So they could use Harrell, but they could if Paul George and Kawhi Leonard could stay healthy, that's going to push them as far as they could be pushed. It's going to be coming towards the bench. If they make it, if the Lakers don't get hit out the first round by the Portland, then it's going to be interesting finally to see the Lakers. Even though the Lakers are struggling right now, it'll be interesting to see the Lakers and Clippers in the Western Conference Finals, because if that happens, then it's going to, it's not going to be an easy out for either. I think for the most part, the Lakers have kind of had the edge on the Clippers, even though it's 2-2 within each team won 2 games. I don't want to say it's really been even. I think it's really the Lakers have had the edge in all of the games. The 2 games that the Clippers did win, Clippers end up pulling it out at the end. But for the most part, the Lakers have the edge to me versus or whatever. And that's a lot of that has to do with team chemistry and Clippers not being fully staffed. Paul George didn't play the first game against the Lakers. The second game, Lou Williams and Harrell looked like they just showed up. They really wasn't in tune to the game. Clippers still pull it out. Third game, I think everybody was there. That's the first time they had everybody, but the chemistry's not there. So Lakers just kind of steamrolled them. Avery Bradley had a hell of a game that game, and they steamrolled them and won. And in the fourth game, they didn't have Lou Williams or Harrell. Clippers still almost won that game though. Down the stretch, and Ron played some good defense and pulled it out. So, in all the games, besides the fourth quarter, AD comes up small. And that's a lot of that. He gets too happy shooting that darn 3. Like, he got a jump shot like Dirk and all them. But he can shoot the 3, but he can't, he's not like Steph and all them. I think he live out there too much at times. But besides him coming off small in the fourth quarter, a lot of games, they had no answer for Anthony Davis. He just been like no answer for him. Nobody to slow him down. So that's the edge that I give the Lakers right now with that. So that's gonna be an interesting series. But other than that, thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to this channel. Like this video. Till next time.